Hello everyone, and welcome to the campaign for an English Parliament. Reversing the decline and ongoing destruction of English culture, history and nationhood by the British government is likely to be a mammoth task, but by no means an impossible one. It requires a multifaceted approach, based on historical awareness, a cultural revival in which our own uniqueness is celebrated, political engagement at grassroots and national level, and encouraging local communities to get out there and do their bit for England. Here's a broad outline of how the English might begin reclaiming and rebuilding what has been lost or eroded over time. One of the most effective ways to revive a sense of English nationhood is through education in our schools and colleges. English history has long been subsumed within the wider British narrative, often prioritising Scottish, Welsh and Irish involvement in the Empire and the wider Anglosphere over England's own internal story. We must reverse this and push for an honest, comprehensive teaching of English history, from our Anglo-Saxon beginnings and the formation of England as a unified nation, up to the present day. Our children should be taught our national story, as well as our rich folklore, our literature, which is still the best in the world, also regional histories of our counties and shires, our gigantic contribution to world industry and invention. And this should be done with pride, to install in our children a sense of their own self-worth as members of the English nation. This will allow communities to reconnect with their roots, and this should not just be left to schools alone, but museums, galleries and libraries should all play their part, as should local authorities in organising festivals to celebrate national days and their own unique places of interest. We should cultivate a revival in localism. England's cultural heritage has been systematically rubbished, scorned, sneered at and vilified by successive British governments in the most deliberate way. We must reverse this by a concentrated effort to support and celebrate local culture from Cornwall to Northumberland. Music, crafts, dialects, customs and regional festivals, reviving traditional English celebrations like May Day, Wassailing, Lammas, the Bonfire Night, St George's Day. And indeed, St George's Day must become a national holiday, as should the 12th of July as England's National Day, in celebration of England's unification in 927. In this way, we can help reconnect people to the rhythm of the land and their heritage. Additionally, local media and publishing should be promoted to counter the dominance of politicised national media, who habitually follow the Westminster policy of denigrating anything English. Our collective voice needs space to tell England's stories from all corners of the country. One of the strangest aspects of modern Britain, as far as other nationals are concerned, is that while Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland have a devolved parliament and assemblies, England, the largest nation of the UK, does not. And now that devolution is being brought to England, it is being done in a way that is destructive to English identity. For whereas the Celtic countries were given national devolution and kept whole, England is being broken up into regions in an attempt to diminish England's nationhood for good. We English must push for our own national parliament in a federal system in which all parts of the UK have equal representation and autonomy. An English parliament, with the same powers as the Scottish Parliament, could debate specifically English matters and represent England's interests. And in this way, we can challenge the British brand. The British government and media have long used the term British to bury English identity. The mainstream media are notorious for substituting British when they speak of England, in a way that they would never do if the subject were Scotland. This deliberate attempt at the undermining of national self-awareness has contributed to a sense of mistrust of the mainstream media among many in the English public. English people should not be afraid to assert their Englishness openly and with pride, whether on official forms, in the media, or in cultural expressions. National symbols like the St. George's Cross, often overshadowed or misrepresented, must be reclaimed positively, with civic pride and inclusivity rooted in shared English history. Major institutions in England have often reflected a top-down metropolitan perspective that neglects the English. These institutions must be reformed or replaced if they are unreformable, to reflect the depth and richness of English life. Representation, funding and leadership should reflect the whole of England, not just the attitudes and prejudices of the Westminster elite. Support for England's huge number of heritage sites, from ancient woodlands to medieval churches, from castles to cathedrals, from museums to great houses, must be restored and expanded. These places are more than just tourist attractions. They're living connections to a shared past, and they belong to us all. The English language is recognised as the world's language. English is influencing the whole world through all forms of modern entertainment and media, and increasingly as the language of the internet. All at a time when the British political establishment are trying to do away with the idea that the English even exist. The English language has been evolving from its earliest beginnings as a branch of Proto-Germanic through Anglo-Saxon and into Middle English to the present day. This process of evolution and adaptation has given us a language unequalled by any other. Effort should be made to preserve regional English through media, literature and education. Writers, poets and artists who explore the English experience in all its regional diversity should be supported. English literature should be central to national life, not out of nostalgia or a chocolate box sentimentality, but because it speaks to who we are and where we come from. Finally, reversing cultural erosion will not come from the present British elite that holds power over England, as it is this elite that is purposefully causing the erosion. It must come from us, the English. We must organise through community groups, local campaigns, heritage trust and civil society movements to take pride in who we are and where we're from. And when we start to fight back against the elite's induced cultural amnesia, we will start to put down a strong foundation for national revival. In conclusion, the English are not without identity, as the British elites would have us believe. It's just been suppressed and misrepresented with a vindictiveness that at times is bordering on the unhinged. To reverse this, there must be a conscious revival of culture, history and a political voice that at this moment in time is non-existent. The present political class in Westminster is not ideologically equipped nor willing to see England regain its nationhood and reassert its own identity. Only an English Parliament, elected from the people of England with the express duty of serving the people of England, will do that which is necessary to restore our freedoms and regain our national pride through building institutions, supporting education, reclaiming symbols, and most of all, believing that England is worth preserving as a living nation with a future as rich as its past. We must once more become a nation of heroes in emulation of our ancestors. So we ask you to come and join the campaign for an English Parliament and help us fight for England through the ballot box and call for a referendum on England's future. And be a rebel with your vote. England is worth it.